The Raptors make it 6 in a row as they take down the Charlotte Hornets 116-101. I'm Randy Urban, and welcome to Raptors Night Cap. Tonight we're joined by Paul Jones, Leo Rautins, and Jack Armstrong. Leo, Raps looked in complete control in that first half, and then Charlotte fights their way back, make a little bit of run, but the Raptors able to weather the storm. What impressed you most about that win?
Well, even when Charlotte made their run, you never got the feeling that honestly they were really threatening. I didn't. They just seemed to be able to control the whole situation from start to finish. Jack made the point during the game. It's really hard in this league to maintain a big lead, right? Especially on the road. You know, teams are going to make a run, but it just seems that whenever they have to, they can do what they need to do to get the game back. And what I really enjoy about this team, and you guys, may or may not agree, being old school here, that they play the game the right way. I mean, everybody's defending, they're making a pass, they're getting the ball in the paint, they're not settling, they know who's got the hot hand. It's fun to watch. Like if you like basketball, if you like the way the game, if you want the game to be played the right way, this is a fun team to watch. It really is.
Jack, to that point too, if you're built the right way and you have the right players and they play the right way, as Leo said, then you're able to bend and not break more often in those scenarios, right?
I agree with that. And I made that point a lot tonight because, as you're 10 days away from All-Star break. I mean, obviously, Fred VanVleet's going to the All-Star game. Precious Achiuwa is playing in the Rising Stars. But the rest of them, a lot of times you're just thinking about, hey, where am I going? A warm beach, whatever the case may be. And it's hard to stay focused. And you see that a lot in the days before All-Star break. And, it's kind of tough on everybody. And so to me, they weren't necessarily performing with their A game tonight. They had, more turnovers than usual. They weren't great at the free throw line. But when they really needed to kind of hunker down and do the right things, they did that. And I agree with Leo. This is a team that plays the right way. They're well coached, and they have that togetherness and that chemistry that's built up during the course of all this.
Jonesy, this is now 2 games in a row against Charlotte that the Raptors have handled them, and pretty much got anything they want offensively. Why is that the case?
Well, Charlotte's near the bottom in terms of, you look at a number of the defensive categories: opponent's field goal percentage, opponent's points allowed. They're high in turnovers, but when the turnovers are high, creating turnovers are high, and the rest of the defensive numbers are not good, it means they're gambling. And if you're Toronto, you go in tonight, if you protect the ball, work the ball properly, and as Leo and Jack have pointed out, the way this team, the Raptors, play offense, you're going to get good looks. For much of the first quarter, they were shooting close to 70%. And why? Drive, kick, swing, drive, kick, and the defense gives up. A good defense will give up, let alone one that doesn't like to guard. And you're going to get open looks. Fred makes 6 threes. Guys are knocking down threes. They build a big lead, and Charlotte continued to try to depend on their offense. And as Leo said, and Jack has pointed out, you play good defense at the other end. Now they're panicking. They're taking bad shots. They're trying for an 8-point shot to get back in the game. You cut down, you make them work at the other end, and the lead just keeps growing like that. I thought Toronto didn't do a great job early in the third quarter, but again, to the guy's point, when they had to, they made a muscle. They understood what to do, and really they won this game going away.
Leo, coming into the season, everyone thought, or pundits thought, people thought, fans thought that the Raptors were going to struggle to score. Are you surprised at all how good their offense has been?
Well, I mean, put it in perspective. When you started the season, you didn't know when Pascal would be around, and situations like that, right? So if you don't have all your personnel know who's going to be playing, you're going to struggle to score, and they did. I've said this before, and I said it tonight on air, that hey, this team would not be in the situation they're in if it wasn't for Fred holding it all together for the entire time when they were struggling to score and struggling to just have bodies. But I don't see a problem, and I didn't anticipate a problem if you have all your guys.
Right.
I mean, you think about it, look at the experience you have on the floor. Look how long some of these guys have played together. And then you add a Gary Trent Jr. that this guy's a machine, right? This guy comes in, he's playing comfortable. He can knock down threes, does all kinds of stuff. Scotty Barnes is a great facilitator. He can make things happen. He can get you extra shots. So there's not a problem scoring when you have all your pieces. And really that's been the issue that's haunted this team up until the last month, is having the bodies.
And Jack, it's crazy because, I think you said this on air, everybody's gotten better. And I saw a stat today that just amazed me, and it was about the Knicks, and they haven't had a guy reach a second contract with him, a draft pick reach a second contract with him in 25 years since Charlie Ward. And that's just the opposite. Yeah. And that's just the opposite of what the Raptors have. It seems like everybody just gets better, and then they get that second contract, and then the team just does better as a whole.
I think that starts right at the top, right? I mean, it starts with ownership and then management. That's leadership. And then you get to the coaching staffs, and whether it was Dwayne Casey and now Nick Nurse, those guys put a great emphasis and premium on development. Masai Ujiri is all about guys getting better and better as they're pros. I think they hold guys accountable. And I think Nick is one of the better offensive coaches that you're ever going to see. Guys get better playing for him, and they don't play looking over their shoulder. And you guys know that. That's so important when you play, that you feel empowered, that you don't look playing over your shoulder. And when you can play that way, unencumbered, uninhibited offensively, I think you get to that next gear because you know that they trust you. They're going to hold you accountable and tell you what you need to hear rather than what you want to hear sometimes, but they're going to still throw you out there. And if you want to keep playing, you're going to do the right things. And these guys do the right things.
Randy, I'll say this to Jack's point. The 3 stages, the 3 steps, and we've seen them here in Toronto. We've seen them all become very important. Drafting / recruitment, development, and then retention. Like, get the guys, develop them, and then say, okay, now we got something going here. And that Toronto has been masterful at that. And just look at how some of the guys, to Leo's point, have improved this year. Scotty Barnes, Precious Achua, Chris Boucher over the last couple of years. All right. Kem Birch, when he came last year as kind of a cast-off, and now he's got, a contract that's going to keep him here for a bit and help him get better as part of the system. That's how you build. That's the stability and continuity that builds you a strong team.
Leo, LaMelo Ball was chosen to replace Kevin Durant as an Eastern Conference All-Star. Obviously, Siakam was an option and a really great option. Do you think he was motivated a little bit more tonight?
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, he's going to go in there and say, hey, I should be the guy. I mean, there's no question about that. But, from the NBA standpoint, hey, if the Raptors had more wins, if Pascal played more games, you could justify having 2 guys, right? No question about that. And I think it's a question of spreading the wealth around. LaMelo Ball is a rising star. I don't really think he's ready for that All-Star stage yet, but he's changed Charlotte. He's given them a whole different look. So you're rewarding him for that. So I don't have an issue with that, but I love the way Pascal handled it, right? Don't talk about it. Just walk in there, kick everybody's ass, and show that basically you're going for all NBA and you're trying to get your team as far as you can. The All-Star thing, there's reasons for that, and you can deal with that.
Yeah, and he's only averaging 2 more assists than Pascal, which is an amazing thing to me when I look at the numbers. Just like, but Jack, just Siakam, Eastern Conference Player of the Week, and I kind of feel sometimes this acknowledgement is brushed aside a bit, but it really shouldn't be, because this is a league with the best players in the world, and Pascal was the best player of those best players for that week.
Well, you're right, and but you know what? This was a guy that was an all-league player a few years ago and an all-star. And he's playing better than that right now. And as Leo just said, he could be back in that category again by the end of the year. So to me, I'm not surprised. Based upon what I'm seeing right now, he's one of the best players in the NBA. I think his numbers speak for that. and the winning that the Raptors are doing speaks for that. As much as we talk about Fred VanVleet, there's other guys, and Pascal Siakam's right at the top of the list. His ability to pass the ball has been really, really a big, big benefit to OG Anunoby, Gary Trent Jr., Scotty Barnes, whoever's on the floor. It's like having a second point guard out there.
Mm-hmm. Jonesy, does a win streak get psychologically harder or easier as it continues? Because we're at 6 now, and the Raptors have a pretty good schedule coming up to make this 7, 8, who knows after that.
From a standpoint, I think it gets easier because you play with freedom. You play with confidence. There's a bit of a get back in the next game with Oklahoma City. This is a game that in Toronto that they controlled, and they let Oklahoma City beat them on a Mike Muscala 3. They had that game in control. Mm-hmm. They are healthy now. They have people back. They're just playing well. Look at the way they played tonight. They walked in there, opened up a 22-point lead, did everything they were supposed to do. Again, kind of human nature had them relax a little bit in the middle, but I didn't see them, as Leo said, I didn't see them losing this lead. And I think when you're playing that well, it's fun to go to the gym. You want one more, like, okay, who's next? We got next. Who's coming in here next? And I just think it gets easier, Randy, from a psychological standpoint. With the confidence you have, you're ready to take on anybody.
Yeah, you can feel that emotion when you step on the floor for the first time. You can ride out those other games for sure. Leo, just your take on that. Does it get harder as it goes on or easier?
No, I think it becomes just more fun. I mean, you're playing basketball, you're winning, right? You're also giving yourself a cushion. So if the streak ends, you're winning a lot of games, so you give yourself a cushion in a loss column. So I just think it's fun, and I like the way they came out in this game. They came out like we want number 6. That's the way they came out and started playing, and so I think these guys are feeling good. That's not pressure. That's fun.
So then, Jack, from a coach's perspective, what are you telling your team at this point before the next game?
Good habits.
And don't say you weren't a good coach.
Well, no, I was a lousy coach, but good habits. Good habits. Yeah. I mean, take care of the ball a little better. Let's make our free throws. Be sound on the defensive end. They held a team that averages number 2 in the league in points, 13 points below their average. They held them below 42%. They did a really good job tonight. So stick to the habits. Guard hard. Play the game the right way on the offensive end, and good things will happen. So, and overwhelmingly, this team does that. Again, I said a few times tonight, there were times you could tell they got a little loose, but that happens right before the All-Star break. And but overwhelmingly, this is a good win. You're not always going to win with your best stuff. And tonight they won with pretty good stuff and big plays when they needed it.
All right, this was good stuff. I appreciate you guys doing the show, as always. Next game for the Raptors, Wednesday night in Oklahoma City against the Thunder. Tip-off goes at 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you then.